Hi everybody, Tammy here, and I wanted to do a brief introduction. Sorry, I'm looking at a little gecko right over here. I am outside. I hope you don't mind. It's a cute little gecko. It's just a tiny little baby thing. Anyway, I'm outside. I'm just enjoying summertime and enjoying my trees and the lake behind us. And so I hope you don't mind about that. But again, I want to talk about Google Forms. I do have some other videos on Google Docs and Google Slides, so check those out as you get the chance. So we are starting from Google Drive. Google Drive is the platform that holds all of the Google applications that we normally use in education. Not all of the Google apps, but the ones we normally use, like your docs and your slides and your forms and sheets and all of those. So we're starting in Google Drive. Now I did create a folder with new, and I created that folder, just labeled it PD. So I'm able to house everything that I'm learning in this particular training. You can label it whatever you want to help you access in the future. But we want to make sure that we organize our drive really well. I will again show you what my drive looks like. Because I've got different folders. I absolutely encourage you all to have different folders to organize, and you are able to change the color of those folders very easily. You can just right click on any of your folders and change color, and you're able to do that. So a lot of you like color coding, so that will be right up your alley. So I wanted to show you that real quick. All right, so we are in the folder that I created, just labeled PD, and I have a couple of other files that I put in there in my demonstration videos. So we're going to talk about forms. So we're going to go to New, and then I don't see Forms on here, so it's going to be under More. So I'm going to go over here where it pops up. Now yours could be in different orders, so maybe you have forms that pop up. I think the ones that you use the most will be up towards the top. So Google Forms is great for surveys, and it's great for quizzes in the classroom. So we're going to talk about those aspects, but talk about immediate feedback, easy feedback. I can create a form literally in a couple of minutes. I don't have to put the questions as they are here. I can maybe just put multiple choice ABCD, 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 and then in the classroom. So if I'm wanting to create a quiz on the fly, then I can do it really fast. Google Apps are very user-friendly, very easy to figure out. So as I encourage all of my teachers that are working with these applications, is just to get in and play with it. And then you're going to figure things out along the way. That's how I learned it. And so that's what I would encourage you to do. The same. So that we got into this form. This is the default form, this lavender and purple color. The first thing I want to do is title it. Now I can title it here, or I can title it here. They're going to be interchangeable. Title it Learning Google Apps. And once I hit return, it says it's saving. And just like all of the other Google apps, then it's going to be automatically saving as you go. Not all Google apps do that, but most of them do, and it's very, very handy. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But if I click up here, it's going to populate what I wrote down here. And if I did the same up here, it would populate it right there. So they are interchangeable. Now I can put in another form description if I want to be a little bit more in-depth in my description. Not really. Okay, so we are immediately put into our first question. So you just click on it, and you notice this section pops up. And so this is going to be the first question. What I'd normally like to do is get names. And so I'll put last name. And notice I didn't do anything. I put in last name, and Google knew to make this a short answer. So these are your types of questions that you are able to insert into a Google form. And I put in name, and it knew it needs to be a short answer text. So that's the one it chose for me right there. And I do want to require this, so I'm going to click on required. So every question you want required, where they aren't able to finish or complete or submit without completing, then you want to hit required. You are also able to delete, and you can actually duplicate this slide. So if I duplicated it for the next question, and then I'm just going to change it to first name. Now, the reason why I have two separate sections for last name, first name is so when I'm able to view the responses in a Google Sheet and each column represents a question answer or the submission of a question, then I can alphabetize by last name. So I do want it to do last name, first name, and I usually want to do that right up at the top, especially if you're doing it with your students, then you're going to want to get those names in. So don't go straight into questions for your quiz. Make sure you get some questions in there for last name and first name. Now, I want to add another question, so I'm going to actually move my video over a little bit so we can see that a little bit better. All right, so this is your little toolbar here. So if I want to add a question, then I just hit the plus symbol and it's just going to start the new question. So I'm just going to say this is question number 1. And let's make this a multiple choice. So multiple choice. And I'm going to choose that from the drop down here. Now, notice I can add images along the way. I'm just going to have option 1, and then I'm going to say it said option 2 automatically, but you can put in any options that you want, and you can keep going as many options that you need to. I am going to require this. I am going to go back to the first name and make sure that's required. I just wanted to double check that that was required. And then I'm going to add another one. Let's look at our different drop downs. Let's see, question number 2. And let's see, from our drop downs, let's do check boxes. So in multiple choice, they can only choose one of these options for their answer. In check boxes, they can choose multiple answers. So this is going to be check boxes, multiple answers, and then you can just add some options there. And then they can check the boxes, all that apply. And you can put that in your description up here, check all that apply, just to remind them that they can choose more than one answer. I'm going to require that one as well. And then I'm going to go to another one. This little toolbar over here, this looks familiar. This is for adding videos if you want to put in a YouTube video. You've got adding a section, so you can actually separate your form into different sections. So I've used this before, that if I had a question that said, if this is a yes or no, and if you answered no, go to this section, or if you answered yes, go to this section, then I'm able to add a section. So it will take them, depending on their answer, it will take them to a certain section. So that's kind of neat feature to have. And then you also have your title and description, and importing questions from another form. You're able to do that. And this is, of course, you're adding a question. So let's look at what other things we have here. We have a drop down. So your typical drop down, just like I just used, if you want that kind of format for it. So this is question number 3. Sorry, that'll bother me if I don't fix. And then you have your different options here, and I will demonstrate all these in just a second. I just want you to see all the different options that you have. I am going to require this one as well. Add a question. Let's see what else we have. We have a linear scale. If you want to say from 1 to 5, how would you rate blah, blah, blah? A multiple choice grid, a checkbox grid. So definitely play with all these different options. And I think this is enough. Short answer, obviously, in paragraph. I usually kind of close mine out with any comments. And then I'm going to see, it automatically changed it to paragraph when I asked for comments. And that gives them the ability to long answer text. Now, I won't require that. And so I kind of have a form going ready to go. But before we do that, let's look at the appearance of it. It's really easy to change. So let's customize the theme. It's the little paint palette up here. So if we click on that, we're able to choose the theme color. What I normally do is go straight to the images, and I kind of look through the images that are defaulted. Now I can also upload my own image to be on the top, but they have so many cool images here, and they have different categories here. I do like what's offered in other because they do have some animated images that I like to use. I love this one. This is just so pretty. It's got the butterfly flying around. So that will change it. It will change the colors because I chose a theme. Now it says the theme color is this one. Now I can change my theme colors to be different colors. So that changed this background color to the green instead of the red. So now I've changed my theme options. I think I'm good. You can do different font styles if you want to be a little bit more playful with the, looks like the Comic Sans, and then it changes that font throughout. So you do have some very easy to manage theme options to make your form a little bit more easier on the eyes. So it looks like we're ready to go. Now what I will also show you up here is this preview. So if you hit this, you're going to see what does the form look like to the people, to your students, or to anybody that you're sending the form to. So it's going to give you their perspective or their view of the form. So that's going to load, and this is what it's going to look like for them. And notice that they have required right here, last name, first name. Here's the questions. You see the difference. Multiple choice, they can only choose one. Question 2, I'm going to go ahead and just answer some things just to show you some responses. So last name 1, first name 1. I'm going to choose option 1. I'm going to choose 2 and 3. I'm going to choose 3. Not today. Then I'm going to hit submit. So at least I'll have one response coming in. And I just did that from the preview. So you're able to test that out to see what that looks like. All right, so it says your response has been recorded, submit another response. Now I can change the settings, which I'll show you in just a second, to change what this says and to see if they are able to submit another response or not, because maybe you don't want them to. So I'm going to go back to our original form. So here's our original form, and I can see I have a responses tab here that's going to show the responses that come in from my form. Now, I also have 2 little buttons that I can choose in the responses, the summary and the individual. The summary is going to give me some charts to look at if I want to do a summary of the answers that I got, if I'm sending to a bunch of people. Or I can look at all the individual answers from everybody. This was from last name, first name 1, and see their answers. So I wanted to show you that, but I'm going to go back to the questions and I want to go to the settings here. So if I go to settings, you have general settings. I want to collect email addresses. So if somebody is signed in, it's going to automatically collect their email address, and we'll see that in just a second. I don't want to restrict to users in my domain, but I do want to limit it to 1 response. And so they will be required, because of this, they're going to be required to sign in with their Google address, their Google account. And so it's going to collect that email address, and it's only going to allow them to submit 1. Now you can also have them edit. Can they edit after they submit? Can they go back to it? If you have it a quiz, can they change their answers? I don't want to do that. See summary charts and text responses. I don't want to choose either one of those. So that's all up to you on how you want to do that. Let's go to presentation. Now this is where you can change up that message upon submission. Thanks so much for your feedback. You can give them instructions if you're doing a quiz, and you can tell the kids, okay, now read this, just whatever you want to put there. You can show a progress bar. You can shuffle the question order. So that's all that's done here. And I'm going to hit save for that. All right, so, and I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. So let me do that one more time. I'm going to do the preview, and I'm going to fill it out again. And I do. Okay, so it's asking for the email address. And I can just populate it right there. And that's just based on my previous Google settings. So I'm going to answer. And hit submit again. So now I'm going to have 2 responses, which is kind of nice. And then it's also going to capture my email address. So I think that's great to make sure that our kids are only doing it once. And again, there's my message that I just put in. Thanks so much for your feedback. Let me go back to the original and look at the responses. So here's the summary responses. I can see the emails here. I can see the last name, first name. I can see the answers in chart formats, and that's just a great, just kind of an overview. So you can easily see what your kids are answering. If they're all missing the same thing, it's easy to see that, or you can see their individual. Now, I also want to show you this right here. Now, used to, when Google Forms first started out, they did not have this responses tab here. Your answers would be populated in a spreadsheet, in a Google Sheet. Now, this is done now by just clicking on that, and it's going to create a new spreadsheet, and it's going to take the title of your form and then just say responses in parentheses. So I'm going to create that, and then we're going to look, it's going to bring that up, and it's going to show you the spreadsheet with all the questions in each column, and you'll be able to see the answers there. So again, I apologize for this taking so long to populate. So here are all the questions are here. Another great aspect of this is the timestamp. So it's going to show you when this was submitted, and it's going to show you all the answers to all the questions that you have in your form. A lot of great things you can do here. I've used this for my badging program in my district, and I create the form to submit for a badge, and I see the badges here, and I'm able to see all the answers, but I'm also able to set up different sheets, and this is another video, but I was able to create different sheets in this Google Sheet, depending on which campus they chose in their form. It would have it on this first page, and then it would have another sheet based on the campus, depending on whatever they answered. So great options there for you to organize your answers and the responses to your Google Forms. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is setting up your form as a quiz. So I'm going to, hello there, sorry for the interruption, but I did want to let you know about this one thing that I did not get in the original video, and that's you're able to move the different questions to different places in your form. So you just see these little this grid right here. You just hold on to that and grab it, and then you can move your questions anywhere you want to in the form. So easy to move and change. I wanted to make sure we got that in. Okay, so let's take a look at what it takes to turn this Google form into a quiz. So we will go over here to our settings once again, and it's going to be in that third category or that third tab along the top. Go to quizzes. It's very easy to do this. Just say, make this a quiz, and then you're able to set some different settings for it. So release the grade immediately after submission or later after manual review. So after I review it, so that turns on email collection. So if it wasn't already on, it's going to collect those emails, and so you're able to send them their grade by email. Respondent can see missed questions. I usually like for them to see the ones that they missed, but I don't want them to see the correct answers, and I don't want them to see the point value. So this is has little question marks so you can see what they mean, but just play with this. It says respondents locked mode on Chromebooks. They aren't allowed to open tabs. So if you want to treat this as a test, you're able to put on locked mode, which is a newer option for them. So I'm going to save that. Now, when you do this, when you turn it into a quiz, you're going to have to set an answer key. So I am, let's see, at total points here. So if I click on this, I'm going to click on answer key, and then I can choose which one is the correct answer. So you can do that, or you can add answer feedback if you want to, which is great. I can go back and edit the question at this point as well. So answer key, it was 2 and 3. This one, this was a drop down. Answer 4 was your answer. So, and then this was your optional. You can also assign points here for each of these questions in this little box right here. And so you just complete that and you're ready to go. So it is now a quiz. So if I do a preview and see it as the students would see it, then they're going to see it in a quiz format. Now, it depends, again, on the settings that you set for it. But I think that pretty much goes over everything. Oh, it says you've already responded, because it says you can fill this form out only once, because it did collect my email address. So I'm not able to do that anyway. But it turns it into a quiz and it grades it from then on. Now, you're able to change the form at any time. And then from then on, that link, which I'll show you here in just a second, that link will have the new updated version. So if I want to send this out to my class, now I just click on send, and there's different ways I can do this. I can do it via email right here within the app, or I can collect the link to it. Now, this is a really long link. I usually click on shorten the URL just to make it easier. And so I will either copy it here or Control C to copy. And that link I can put in Google Classroom. I can set it in an email. I can put it on the board, whatever you want to be able to send the link to your form, and also your ability to share it with those. And then you can also embed your form. That just means the form is actually, if you have a website, the teacher website, and you want to put the form in the actual website, so they're filling it out on your website page or in an email, then you can embed it with this HTML, and you would just copy that, and you can change the size of the box that pops up for that embedded form. So that's how you send it. A real quick overview of the dots over here. And dots is usually, we correlate with settings. So there's going to be some different things over here. You can make a copy of your form, move to trash, get pre-filled link, print, add collaborators. So if you're working with another teacher, or if students are working with other students, this is where you would add collaborators. That's not the same thing as sending the link for somebody to fill it out. This is somebody who can get in and edit and see the responses as well. And then you have your preferences and your add-ons like your other Google apps. So I hope this gives you a good overview of Google Forms and being able to use it for quick feedback, being able to use it as a quiz, easy to set up, very user-friendly. Again, my encouragement would be to just get in here and play with it. And if you have any questions, then just search for it. There's tons of resources out there on the web for Google Form support. I hope you have a great day and enjoy playing with Google Forms.